While the Iraqis lived frugally during his dictatorship, Saddam Hussein, along with his family and other close associates, lived like kings. In one of his palaces, the U.S. Army soldiers discovered American currency which totaled over $650 million. But it was just a little glimpse of his luxurious lifestyle. From his fondness for building luxurious palaces to owning weapons worth billions, here's everything you need to know about Saddam Hussein's billionaire lifestyle. Hussein spent his early years in the village of Tikrit with his widowed mother. It was either before or shortly after his birth that his father left the family. Some accounts say that his father was murdered, while others claim that he abandoned the family. At the same time, Saddam's older brother died after his fight with cancer. Due to these unfortunate events, his mother started to have mental health problems, making it hard for her to take care of the young Saddam. Therefore, he was sent to stay with his uncle Khairullah Tufla, who had to serve in prison for his political activity. Years later, his mother remarried to a violent and illiterate man. So he returned to his mother, but he hated his stepfather, so he went back to living with his uncle upon his release. Saddam finished high school at the age of 18. His dream was to go into the military, but unfortunately he failed the entrance exam. It's surprising to note that although he frequently wore military-style outfits, he was never officially a part of it. In 1957, he became a member of the Ba'ath Socialist Party. Soon, he was found to be involved in an assassination attempt against the prime minister. The plan was an absolute failure. He was sentenced to death, but managed to escape to Egypt. There, he decided to start studying in law school in 1962, but he got more and more interested in politics. When the Ba'ath Party came to power, he returned to Baghdad and resumed his studies there. However, his involvement in the party's activities increased even more. Unfortunately, the Ba'ath tenure was short, and Saddam had to go into hiding. However, he was captured and imprisoned for several years. He managed to escape prison and resumed his underground activities, playing a key role in the 1968 revolution which brought the Ba'ath to a lasting regime. Hussein exercised immense power as vice president in a government known for political persecution and violations of human rights. He also oversaw efforts to modernize the country and improve its poor economy and oil reserves. He ascended to the presidency after President Ahmed Hassan al-Bakr resigned in 1979 due to ill health. Saddam Hussein ruled Iraq from 1979 to 2003 with an iron fist, relying on fear and terror to maintain his grip on power. He set up a covert police unit to crush internal criticism and created a cult of personality to gain public support. His ambition was to become the Arab world's leader, with a region that included the Persian Gulf's oil reserves. From 1980 to 1988, Saddam led Iraq in a stalemate war with Iran. Also in the 1980s, he employed chemical weapons against Kurdish people in Iraq, gassing the town of Halabja, which killed over 5,000 people. In 1990, he ordered troops to capture Kuwait, which resulted in the United States defending Kuwait in the Gulf War. Saddam is said to have built between 80 and 100 palaces during his 24-year reign. Hundreds of millions of dollars were spent on opulent constructions with gold details and fine marble fittings. He spared no expense when it came to his comfort. These palaces were viewed as a display of his dominance and power over Iraq. Every important town in Iraq had a Saddam Hussein palace constructed for the dictator. These were not built solely for Saddam. Wives and high-ranking party officials were equally well cared for. After the first Gulf War, some of them were looted and destroyed by bombing, but the majority collapsed after the American invasion in 2003. All of his former residencies are now under the control of the Iraqi government. Even if their history is full of horrors, some locals still believe that Saddam's palaces should be restored. Others feel they should be allowed to fall apart, burying with them the unpleasant memories of violence and death. Let's take a look at some of them. First up is the Bird's Nest, which, situated in Iraqi Kurdistan atop the Gara mountain, has clearly the best views. After the first Gulf War, it was looted like all of his residences. Now you can only find the traces of sienna green tiles and fine Italian marble on the site. Well, you can take them with you as a souvenir. It was the Republican presidential palace that was the perfect fit for Saddam's luxurious lifestyle. This palace was literally a city within a city, with 6-lane motorways, proper traffic lights, and a massive zoo. Every corner of the palace had been adorned with the finest decoration pieces from around the world. Despite the fact that Saddam could not swim, he insisted on having a pool for each wing of the palace. However, it ended up being military headquarters after the American invasion. It was even hit by a missile, but most of it remained intact. It's believed the palace had many important documents, as it was Saddam's favorite spot to meet with other important politicians. Saddam had all the money in the world, and he duly knew to put it to use for his opulent lifestyle. The Al Fatwa Palace had an unreal amount of space with 500,000 square foot area, 62 well-adorned rooms, and 29 bathrooms. However, his palaces in the hometown of Tikrit put the rest of his residencies to shame. They comprise a compound 50 times the size of the White House. Within it are his personal palace, as well as those for his wife, mother, and sons, and all of them literally had man-made lakes surrounding them. The government planned on turning it into a luxurious resort. Well, turns out the looters erased everything, including the light switches. It is safe to say that Saddam's lifestyle was more like that of a drug lord rather than a ruler. It's no secret that Iraqi rulers were obsessed with drugs, weapons, money, and women, and Saddam was no exception. Even his sons were equally infatuated by the opulence as their father. His son Sadam Hussain had a separate residence in the Republican Palace. Large amounts of pornography, packs of sexual enhancers, rooms filled with liquors and fine wines and customized Cuban cigars with names were found in Sadam's residence. Besides this, there were dozens of crates filled with Italian pistols and a lot of gold-plated knives and swords. To carry on his underground activities, Saddam sometimes had to step out of his luxurious palace to go to his secret urban residencies. One of them was in central Baghdad. It was a split-level townhouse with only a single room. The room had mirrored walls and lamps shaped like females. While Saddam was enjoying all of these luxuries, the country was brewing with internal conflicts and wars which further divided the already divided nation. So it comes as no surprise that not only the US was able to help Kuwait during the Gulf War, they were also able to lead the successful invasion of Iraq. This was the end of Saddam's dictatorship. He surrendered without a fight. One of the soldiers who witnessed him described him as a man resigned to his fate. On December 30th, 2006, he was found guilty of various crimes against humanity and sentenced to death by hanging. That's a wrap for the video. Do you have any questions about the lifestyle of Saddam Hussein? Well, let us know in the comments below. Make sure to give this video a thumbs up and subscribe to the channel for more videos like this. See you in the next one.